Alright guys, Raw Rosslot, your wrestling reviewer, heavyweight champion of YouTube here, and today I'm going to be reviewing NXT Takeover New Orleans. Now this was a show that I was hyped for. Hype is an understatement. I can't exaggerate enough how much I was looking forward to this show. It may have been probably the biggest WWE show, or the most hyped WWE show to me in my life as a wrestling fan. And did it deliver? Holy crap, did it deliver? This was probably one of my favourite WWE shows I think I've ever seen. It had probably one of my favourite WWE matches I've ever seen. Each match was... Okay, alright. I should probably calm down a little bit. I'll put the title down for now. And we will get into the Takeover show that... It's such a great show. And I watched it with a couple of friends last night. And one of them had never seen really NXT. And the other one... had seen it before, but this was his first takeover in a while, and they were both just as excited. Well, probably not as excited as me, but they were both loving it just as much as I did. But anyway, let's get into the show. The opening contest, after we had a performance from the band who do the theme song, I believe. I can't remember what their name is. I'm very sorry. But the opening contest was the 6-man ladder match for the new North American Championship. Beautiful looking title belt, and it's a new design, which I do appreciate. NXT's belts all usually have new designs. I do think that the women's and the NXT belts are a bit lazy because they are very similar. But the NXT tag belt looks great. This North American title looks great. And of course, the UK title is probably the best looking title in the company. So, 6-way ladder match for the North American title. We had Lars Sullivan, Killian Dane, Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, Bebe, the debuting Ricochet, and the debuting EC3. All 6 guys. I don't know if I've ever seen a ladder match where all 6 guys got over or were made into stars so well. You had some great moments with Lars Sullivan and Killian Dane, where they the 2 hosses just went out and had a big hoss match. You had Ricochet a minute in doing a shooting star press and nearly killing himself. You had EC3 and Adam Cole being the smart, tactical heels working together until EC3 got immensely cocky and did the Adam Cole baby, but did EC3 baby. And Adam Cole was like, no, you don't do that, and then gave Manushi Roshi. You had the Velveteen Dream giving everyone purple Rainmakers, which is the elbow drop at one point, and then he gave Lars Sullivan one from the top of a ladder. That was an insanely cool looking spot. You had Ricochet at one point climbing the ladder, and the ladder got pushed over, but as he was falling, he did a moonsault onto everyone outside. Great spot there. Then, probably the most insane spot of the matchup was there was a ladder bridge, and it was Velveteen Dream and I believe Ricochet who were on the ladder bridge, and Velveteen Dream gave him the cartwheel Death Valley driver on that ladder bridge. Both men looked like they died. That was insane. Then we had the 2 big hosses, Sullivan and Killian Dane, getting back into this matchup. Obviously, Adam Cole had to be protected in this matchup, so he didn't take too many bumps. But you had Dane and Sullivan. They were both standing on the apron. Dane had EC3 on a bridged ladder between the apron and the announce table, and he gave, I believe it was Ricochet, I think it might have been Velveteen Dream. He gave him a freak accident through EC3 on the ladder breaks, and then you had Dane on the other side basically giving, I believe it was Adam Cole, a Michinoku driver onto Ricochet, who was on a ladder bridge. Those 2 guys are out, so in the middle of the ring, you've got the 2 big hosses again, Sullivan and Dane, and they both climbed the ladder, but then you had everybody getting back into the ring, and all 6 men were fighting. And finally, Lars Sullivan, after all the other men had been knocked off the ladders, Lars Sullivan gave Killian Dane the freak accident off the ladder, and then he climbed up the ladder. But it was Ricochet who springboarded in, and there was one point actually where Sullivan and Dane were playing with Ricochet, and they were just throwing in between them. That was awesome. And then I think at one point actually Killian Dane went to do a crossbody or a leaping crossbody to Sullivan. Sullivan just caught him in midair and just slammed him down. That was an awesome spot. But in the end, Sullivan climbing the ladder, Ricochet springboards in, jumps onto Sullivan, the ladder tips over, Ricochet puts the ladder back up, climbs the ladder, but Adam Cole, baby, who had been hiding for a little bit here, he got in, pushed the ladder over, climbs it quickly, and he takes down the North American Championship. Adam Cole is the first ever North American champion, baby. and that was really the right man to get it. I mean, Adam Cole has been there since, Brooklyn, and he obviously got the pin at War Games in that great match, and then, of course, he lost to Black in a hell of a match in Philadelphia. But really, Adam Cole was the right man to win it. Ricochet and EC3 can do more of a chase for titles, really. Adam Cole takes the belt into the... Obviously, he's going to be doing double duty. Takes the belt into the tag match later on, and Adam Cole, the new North American champion. This was a fantastic six-way ladder match. I don't know if I've ever seen a six-way ladder match that got all six guys over so well. Velveteen Dream got his spots in. Lars Sullivan looked dominant. Killian Dane looked like a warrior. Any one of these six men could really go up to the main roster. Like, they all looked proper ready for it. And that was the thing with this NXT show. Like, everyone I saw in this show looked ready for the main roster. Maybe outside of the Authors of Pain, who could maybe use a little bit more refining, but even they look better than a lot of the tag teams on the main roster. And they've improved dramatically since their debut. But in the end, this ladder match, as I said, Velveteen Dream looked great. Lars Sullivan looked powerful. Killian Dane looked powerful. Adam Cole looked sneaky and conniving. You had EC3, who was cocky and arrogant. And then you had Ricochet, who flew everywhere and died so many times in this matchup. I'm going to give this 4.5 stars. This is actually one of the best ladder matches I've seen in a very long time. Kudos to all six men for kicking off the show in the right way. Awesome ladder match. Then we had the NXT Women's Championship matchup, Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon. This was a little bit slower. That ladder match, by the way, went 31 minutes. Really long ladder match. So they gave those guys a lot of time to work, and they really made the most with it. Second match on the show, and we had the NXT Women's Championship match with Shayna Baszler, the challenger, against the champion Ember Moon. Ember Moon got the only real special entrance of the night. She was played to the ring by a lady with a guitar. I don't know her name. Again, I apologise. I think it was probably the guitarist from that band who do the theme song. But yeah, these two women, they had a little bit of a slower match, but they really started really fast-paced, which is what I really like. So out of the gates, immediately, Ember Moon goes for a dropkick, but Shayna Baszler just sidesteps her and gives her, like, the best right hand. It was such a great spot. And then Shayna Baszler just smiles. She got out of the ring. Ember Moon gave her a dropkick into the stage steps. They both got back in, and there was a little bit of chain wrestling. But then Ember Moon hit a diving codebreaker from the top rope for a good near fall. But then the match would start to revolve around Baszler's arm. Now, Shayna Baszler would go to do the foot stomp on the arm to kind of, dislodge the arm out of the socket. She missed. Ember Moon hit a leg sweep. And then Ember Moon would do the foot stomp on the arm to Baszler. So Baszler now had her left arm, had, come out the socket, or she dislocated, or whatever it is, whatever the injury is. So for a little bit in the matchup, Shayna Baszler was wrestling injured, and honestly, this got her over so much. It really propelled her as this warrior who could fight through pain and go 50-50 with Ember Moon. And Ember Moon was controlling a little bit more of it, but Baszler was competing here with Ember Moon. And Baszler, at one point, she took out Ember Moon, she gave her a couple of kicks in the corner, and then she went out to the ring post and, jammed her, shoulder against the ring post twice. And she sold this really well, it was proper painful. And she then went over to Ember Moon. Ember Moon kicks to the outside and then hit the Eclipse on the outside. Rolled Ember Moon. Oh no, I believe both women got back in the ring. Ember Moon went to pick up Baszler. Baszler, though, flipped her over into the rear naked choke. And at one point, actually, when really early on, when Baszler did go for that rear naked choke, Ember Moon, got out of it by just, leaping and, smashing Baszler's back against the floor. That was a great way to get out of the rear naked choke. But no, Ember Moon went to pick Baszler up. She got flipped into the rear naked choke. She somehow escaped. I think, it's because she was working on the arm. And then she went up top, went for a second Eclipse. But as she went for it, this is exactly the finish I thought they'd do. She went for the Eclipse. Baszler caught her in the Kirifuda clutch, the rear naked choke. She got her to the ground. She rolled towards the ropes. Ember Moon nearly got the ropes. She touched it with her foot. But then Baszler rolled away. Ember Moon was fighting. She couldn't do anything. She eventually had to pass out to the Kirifuda clutch. Shayna Baszler is the new NXT Women's Champion. I thought that was a really good finish. And I do like referee stoppages because they give you this belief that, matches can end at any time due to submission, especially one like a rear naked choke. So kudos to the two women for doing that finish, because it could seem like a flat finish, and I don't think the crowd liked it that much, but I thought it was a fantastic finish to a really, really good women's matchup. And if this is the precedent for what we're going to get at Mania with Asuka and Charlotte in their women's matchup, those guys do need to beat this, because this was a great women's matchup. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Shayna Baszler is the new NXT Women's Champion. Great matchup. Really, really good match for these two women. And Shayna Baszler did not look out of place on a big NXT show in a big NXT Women's title match. She looked great here. And I'm just thinking Ronda Rousey is not going to look this good. So, third match on the show, and it was the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy and the NXT Tag Team Titles match. Just got a pop-up. It's annoying when that comes up. Oh, wait, missed it. Got it. So it's the NXT Tag Team Titles and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Trophy match. It's not the final, really, because Undisputed Era weren't in the tournament. But, of course, it's the Undisputed Era, who are being represented by Adam Cole, who's got his ribs taped up after the hellacious ladder match he went through earlier, and Kyle O'Reilly, taking on the team of Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong, and the Authors of Pain. This was a very good match. It was a bit of a step down from what I'd just seen from the previous two matches, but this was a really good match. Like, they did some stuff early. The Authors of Pain chokeslammed Adam Cole through an announce table on the outside early. He was gone for the rest of the matchup, literally. So Kyle O'Reilly had to fight on his own, and he did try. There were some stiff-looking kicks, and there were some great spots with Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne, where they were throwing strikes and slaps and kicks and just anything they could at each other. And you had the Authors of Pain getting their spots in, obviously. They did a super collider to Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, and then Roderick Strong got in there, angle slam to one of the Authors of Pain, hit a backbreak on one of the, I believe it was Kyle O'Reilly. Great action, really. Like, there was really, really good action. Towards the end, you had Strong and Pete Dunne hitting that, like, assisted bitter end, but there was a pinfall was broken up by one of the Authors of Pain. Then, Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne are the two men left in the ring. Kyle O'Reilly, I think he gets struck by Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne hits the bitter end, goes for the cover. 1, 2, but who should come in and stomp Pete Dunne right in the back of the head? But Roderick Strong. He hit Dunne in the back of the head. He hit him with End of Heartache, and then he put Kyle O'Reilly's body over Pete Dunne. 1, 2, 3. O'Reilly and Cole somehow retain the NXT Tag Team titles and win the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They only competed in one match, so I don't know if I would have had them win the trophy, but they really should be keeping the belts. I would have liked Dunne and Strong to win, but I think that really should keep the belts for at least this one pay-per-view and maybe lose them at the next takeover. This was a very good tag match. That swerve with Strong turning heel, and after the matchup, he had Cole and O'Reilly in the ring, and he basically grabbed Cole's arm, he pulled the armband off it and put it on his own arm. So that long-term story of Strong not joining the Undisputed Era has now finally paid off, and he has finally joined the Undisputed Era. So that is a dominant faction. They all went up and stood and posed with the trophy, and Fish came out as well. You have the 4 members of the Undisputed Era: Cole, Strong, Fish, and O'Reilly. And that is a dominant faction that really needs to take NXT over now. They have the tag titles, they have the North American title with Cole. I would not be surprised if Strong goes after the NXT champ, or even just goes after Dunne for the UK title, because, like, as much as Dunne losing is a bit iffy, like, I maybe would have had him pinned, but I guess for this finish you had to do that. This puts Dunne in a big spot, because this gives him a big storyline in NXT, which I think can maybe coax him into finally signing that WWE contract. But in the end, this was a very good matchup. I'm probably going to bump the grade up a little bit because of the swerve finish. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 stars. It was very, very good. The 3 3/4, it'd be 3.5 if the finish wasn't there, but it was a very good finish. Very shocking finish, and I didn't see it coming. So 3 3/4, very good little 6-man tag. And then we had the NXT title. Yes, so my boy Johnny Gargano is main eventing in a non-title match. The first time NXT have ever done a takeover show where a title match is not main evented, I believe. So we had NXT title Andrade Cien Almas, who came out again with the mask against Aleister Black. This was a great NXT title. Not as good as Almas and Gargano last month. That match was, I thought, nearly untouchable. That match was going to be match of the year, I thought, probably for the whole year. And then the main event happened. But no, these guys though had a fantastic matchup. Almas is such a great and believable heel. Reverse DDT out the corner. He did the backbreaker in the corner as well. But then it was Black who, like at the beginning of the match as well, Black did like the Cabrada in the ring and then did like a moonsault to Almas on the outside. You had just some great stuff. You had obviously Almas doing he did at one point, he did the knees in the corner. He did a double foot stomp onto Black on the apron after Vega got involved. Vega did the Hurricane Rana to Black into the steps. Almas rolled him in. Cover 1-2 kick out by Black. Black at one point hit like a Black Mass out of nowhere, and it literally was out of nowhere. I was like, oh my god, Black Mass, like holy crap. Black Mass 1, 2, Vega puts Almas's foot on the rope, so nobody's kicked out of Black Mass yet, but somebody has escaped it. And then, like, the guys went outside, and then I think Black ran back in the ring. Almas caught him with La Sombra out of nowhere. Like, 1-2, kick out by Black. Almas honestly had no idea what to do at this point. So, I think at one point, like, Almas got the title, and Almas got the title, and he was going to use it. And then Vega got in and then did the Hurricane Rana DDT, like the spike DDT, to Black. That also got a 2 count. But in the end, Vega went to the top rope. She went to crossbody Black. Black ducked. Almas caught Vega. As Almas has got Vega, Black gives him a second Black Mass, falls into the cover. 1, 2, 3. Aleister Black is the new NXT champion. It's been a year-long story. I don't really mind Almas losing the belt now because he's had a good reign. Like, he really has. And Almas is ready for the main roster now. He's been such a fantastic heel these past 7 months. His first, year in NXT wasn't great. That wasn't necessarily his fault. But this last 7 months have really, to me, showed that he can go to the main roster and be a top heel. This was a fantastic match. 4.5 stars. These two men, awesome stuff. Probably Black's best match in NXT, although I really liked the Philly match with Adam Cole. But yeah, awesome stuff from Black. And Almas, again, has a great match on pay-per-view. And it wasn't with Johnny Gargano. Awesome, as I said, 4.5 stars. 2 4.5-star matches so far. 4-star in that 3 3/4 tag. So NXT at this point would have been one of the best takeovers they've ever done. Then we had the main event. Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, unsanctioned match. I looked at the clock, and it was like 20 past 2 here, which means, no, 20 past 3 here, which means it'd been on for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Usually takeovers only go for 2:30, and I thought to myself, this can't go any less than like 20. So these two guys, firstly, Ciampa comes out, and Tommaso Ciampa's entrance was maybe the best thing I've seen all year. Like, it wasn't better than the match, but like, the entrance was, he had no music, he just walked slowly to the ring, he got booed, he got called a wanker, he got called an arsehole, and he just basked in the crowd's adulation of Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling. And we love Johnny Gargano, but Ciampa is such a great heel. And I don't know if he actually gets the respect he deserves. I think he's probably the best heel in the WWE. And I think that's why this was such a strong reaction that he had against him. So Ciampa comes out, no music. Gargano's music hits, the crowd lose their shit. Johnny comes to the ring. Referee says, remember guys, non-sanctioned match. I'm only here to count a pinfall or submission. He looks at both men, rings the bell, and they just stare at each other for a minute. And then they just go to town, striking. Gargano gets the win. Gargano gets the upper hand though at the beginning. And then Gargano, Ciampa sends him out of the ring. Gargano gets straight back in, slingshot spear. And then Gargano sends Ciampa out of the ring, does a tope suicida. Now both men are fighting outside of the ring and they're fighting to the crowd. And Gargano does this awesome leap into the crowd, kind of like Okada does. But Ciampa finally would get a little bit back. He pushed Gargano into the barricade and then suplexed him onto the barricade. Now Ciampa's starting to see that sadistic, that malicious, ruthless, callous side of Ciampa. Ciampa rips the mats on the outside up, and he then tries to do a suplex onto it. They tease it, and then they leave the mats for now. They go over to the announce table, and both men are on the, I think Gargano just sends Ciampa over the announce table into Percy Watson. Yes. and both men get on the announce table. They tease a pile driver through the table, but Ciampa somehow escapes and gives Gargano a suplex off the announce table. Both men died there. They literally just splatted on the mat. That was sick. So Ciampa now has the upper hand and is happy. He's not smiling yet. He only smiles once in the whole match. And Ciampa looks into the crowd and he sees someone on crutches in a Gargano shirt. This exact Gargano shirt, actually, you can purchase it from WWE.com for £22, I think, if you're in Europe. So yeah, Ciampa sees this guy in the crowd with the Gargano shirt on and he's got crutches. He takes both the crutches and you can see his cogs starting to work. Gets in the ring, he looks at Gargano, he goes to hit him with a crutch. Gargano ducks, he ducks again. He knocks the crutch out of Ciampa's hand, but then Gargano makes a mistake and he goes to try and pick that crutch up. And Ciampa just waffles him. And it's just like, no, you don't use the crutch. It's my crutch. So then they started just killing each other. And there was a great spot where I think they were in the corner and I think Ciampa had just... I can't remember what he did, but Ciampa was... it's really hard. There's so much in this match to remember. Eventually, Ciampa would start teasing Project Ciampa, and Gargano would keep escaping, and he'd keep escaping, and he'd keep escaping. But eventually, as all things do, after Ciampa had hit that big running knee to the back of the head of Gargano, Gargano, I think he went for a strike, but Ciampa gave him this huge lariat. He picked up the crutch, he whacked him in the back, picked him up, Project Ciampa, 1, 2, kick out by Gargano. And remember, all of these moves, the Project Ciampa, the knee strike, it was all on Ciampa's injured knee. So you've got to remember that, I think, for the finish. Ciampa's like, oh my god, what do I do? So Gargano gets up, and he somehow hits a super kick out of nothing, and then he goes into the corner, does the big setup, gives him the best super kick I've ever seen. Ciampa just flies back, spit up, his teeth fly out of his mouth. Gargano goes to the corner, 1, 2, kick out by Ciampa. What a near fall that was. And then they just started going into like overdrive. There was a point actually where Ciampa had done something dastardly to Gargano and he just sat on the apron clapping and smiling, and it was he's such a good heel, but he takes such a good heel to work with such a great babyface. Getting on in the matchup, and they teased a air raid crash from Ciampa off the apron to Gargano, but Gargano rolled out of it, fell to the mat, and did a sunset flip powerbomb to Ciampa onto the cement underneath the mats. That was sick, and Ciampa's head just crashed into that cement. They got back in the ring. Gargano, after that super kick, was like, I have no idea what to do. So he and this was also after he hit a reverse Frankensteiner, which was scary as hell, and he didn't get all of it, but he did that reverse Steiner, then hit the 2 super kicks for that great near fall. He put Ciampa on the top rope, and he went for a top rope Hurricane Rana. Ciampa caught him, and then gave him Project Ciampa off the top rope. Oh my god, the injured knee again, which he held for a second just before he could get the pin. 1, 2, kick out again by Johnny Wrestling. And this match was in overdrive at this point. And then you had that callback to the CWC where Ciampa in the CWC couldn't pull down the knee brace to do that knee. And here, he took off his knee brace and he pulled down his knee pad and he went to do the knee again to the back of the head of Gargano. But Gargano grabs the knee brace and whacks Ciampa in the knee with the knee brace. And Ciampa's selling the knee brace and he's on the ground. And Gargano gets up and he grabs the crutch and he snaps it in half. He goes to hit Ciampa with it, but he stops. He hesitates. And then this shows that the humanity that he still has. And Ciampa's there just sitting there in this callback to the CWC where Gargano was sitting in the middle of the ring and he was sad because his best friend Ciampa had walked out on him. So Gargano was like, oh no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so he sits down with his friend, and just as you see Gargano sit down, Ciampa pushes his hand over to the side and he grabs the knee brace and he goes to hit Gargano with it. Gargano ducks it. He saw it coming. He knew Ciampa would try and fuck him again. He saw it coming, so he dodges it and locks in the Gargano escape. But Ciampa's like, he's fighting it, and Ciampa rolls out. But as he rolls out, Gargano locks in an STF on the bad knee, grabs the knee brace, yanks the head of Ciampa back, injuring the head as well as the knee. Ciampa submits immediately. Ciampa submits, Gargano wins, Gargano beats Ciampa. This went like 37 minutes. I thought this would go 20. I thought this would open the show, never mind main event it. This match was truly one of the best matches I may have ever seen. This was stunningly well put together. This told a story. The violence was... like, they didn't need blood. They didn't need blood in this matchup. The violence was there in the brutality of the strikes and the cane shots. Not the cane shots, the crutch shots. The only thing I would change about the finish is I would not have had the knee brace. I would not have had Gargano hit him with the knee brace. I would have had him hit him with a crutch in the knee and then use the crutch as the choke because it's a pole, like that's going to sting. Outside of that, I thought this match was perfect and it's probably one of the best matches I've ever seen. These two guys, this is probably one of my favourite matches. Like, this isn't like up there with probably my top 3 or 4, but this is probably one of my favourite matches I've ever seen, just because I was so invested in the story, and it was a 322-day long program they'd done, and it was even longer than that, because this called back to the CWC, this called back to when they were DIY. This was an insanely well put together matchup, and if I did do matches on a 6-star rating system, I would probably give it 6 stars, but I don't do that. I do it out of 5, and so therefore this gets 5. Was this better than the Almas match? I have rewatched it. I think I'd have to rewatch the Almas Gargano match to see which one was better. But Johnny Gargano has gone 2 NXT shows and had 2 5-star matches. Like, I'm stunned. I'm stunned at how good Johnny Gargano is. He's currently my second favourite wrestler in the world. Okada, Gargano, Pete Dunne. Ciampa as well. Ciampa is the best heel in the company. Gargano is the best babyface. This will be the best match of Mania weekend. I don't think anything on Mania is going to be as good unless Styles and Nakamura or Asuka and Charlotte is as good as they can make it. Then it won't be, because these guys, I don't think they could have done better. Outside of that one thing with a crutch, I don't think they could have done better. 5 stars. What a way to end the show. Candice LeRae comes out and hugs her husband Johnny Gargano, and we end with Johnny Gargano finally getting that big takeover singles win and knocking Ciampa out of not out of the company, but getting his job back in NXT. Johnny Gargano has to go for the NXT title. He has to win it because the man's insane. The man is insane, and I just worry about him on the main roster. I worry about Ciampa too. They'd work better as a pair on the main roster, but after this match, you can't put them together. You can't put them back together. Because even in the end, when Gargano and Ciampa showed a little bit of remorse towards each other, and they seemed like, look, maybe we can come back from this. Ciampa tried to screw him, and Gargano was like, come on, mate, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And so he killed him with the crutch, and with the knee brace, and the STF. And immediately after the finish, as Ciampa tapped, which I thought was awesome, because the knee had been worked all match. Like, he'd kneed him in the back once, he'd done Project Ciampa twice, and then he'd been hitting the knee with the knee brace. So I think that perfect finish. And immediately after the matchup, Ciampa was immediately taken out, and I just think that was perfect as well, because this was Gargano's moment. As much as Ciampa is it was just his match, this was Gargano's moment. And Ciampa was amazing because the entrance was Ciampa's moment. Like, that was insane. Everything from the entrances to the post-match bit was perfect in this matchup. 5 stars, and that is how you end NXT Takeover New Orleans. So what do I give NXT Takeover New Orleans? I give it a 10 out of 10. This show was perfect, really. Like, as much as, like, not every match was 5 stars. You had a 5-star match, 2 4.5s. 4 and then a 3 3/4, which really is more of a 3.5 than 3 3/4. But you had a great heel turn. You had the emotional story that the main event told, and the main event got me, like it really did. You had the great NXT titles match, which was really just 2 men trying to prove they were the better men. You had Shayna Baszler beating Ember Moon by submission in a really good referee stoppage finish. and then you had that really balls to the walls ladder match where everybody looks big. I don't think there is a better time to be a fan of NXT. There is not a better time to be a fan of Johnny Gargano or Aleister Black or Lars Sullivan or Velveteen Dream or Adam Cole. This roster they have at the minute is so good. And there's a reason I think that the show is going to be better than than Mania. It's only 5 matches long. It was 3 hours in the end, which I didn't mind. I didn't mind it being 3 hours because I wanted to watch Gargano and Ciampa go forever. Because they were awesome. 10 out of 10. Awesome show. The best takeover they've ever done. I don't care. Best takeover they've ever done. I said Orlando last year was the best takeover they'd done because I thought the match quality in that one was better. I think this one had some great moments. It had 2 new champions. 3 new champions if you can't count the ladder match. It had a big heel turn, and it had a culmination of a year-long story, or a 2-year-long story. Awesome takeover, awesome show. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Raw Wrestler. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think to NXT Takeover New Orleans? Did you think it was better than Philadelphia? Did you think that Almas and Gargano was better than Ciampa and Gargano? What did you think to the finish? What was your favourite match on the show? What do you think to Adam Cole, baby, being the North American champion? What did you think to Roderick Strong for turning heel and joining the Undisputed Era? What do you think for the future of NXT? Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Roster.